And hello everyone, welcome back to your HTML tutorial. Today we will be looking at headings. So just a recap of the previous video, we can have a bunch of ways to style text. So we can have bold, italic, strike through or deleted, which is the ones you'll be using the most. You can have underline as well. You can have sub and superscripted text. You can have big, you can have small, all of that. So yeah, that is what we did in a previous video. Today we'll be looking at headings. So we have 6 types of headings in HTML, and don't worry, it may sound like a lot, but it's actually just something really easy, really simple that you just have to kind of get used to. So the first heading would be H1. And this will be your main heading of the web page. Your entire website will have this heading. So this will be the main heading. So if we were to refresh here, as you can see, there's a main heading. It is really big, and you don't really have to worry about the size because the sizes may differ, as you'll see with the different headings. But on the end of the day, even if the size is smaller than a normal paragraph size, you can change that. The sizes only differ if you because later we'll be using CSS. So the sizes will only differ until you change them with CSS. So yeah, so that's a heading, a main heading. You can like maybe put some sort of or yeah, just leave it like that for now. And you have your second heading. So this would be a subheading. So we can say subheading. Save it, and you'll actually see a size decrease. You don't have to worry about the size decrease. It doesn't really mean anything. The headings here are actually just for computers. They're not really meant for humans. These are so computers know what they're looking at. So they know how important this heading is. H1, which would be the most important heading, and H6, because we go from H1 to H6, which would be the least important. You can say animals. So this is a website about animals. And here we can say dogs. And then we can copy this and we can actually create another subheading. And we can be like cats. Save it, refresh, and now we get animals, and then there's a subheading for dogs and a subheading for cats. Then underneath both of these, we can maybe have another subheading. And this subheading could maybe be something like, let's go, grooming practices. I don't know if that's correctly spelled, but I guess it doesn't matter. Refresh, and now there's a heading underneath that. And here we could maybe put some text and be like, best to be groomed once a day. And here we can maybe go and say, best to be groomed 3 times a day. Once 3 times, no, like that. And now we have like our main title for the web page, a subtitle because subcategories, and then a subtitle or a subcategory, and then we have some text. And maybe let's say within that category, usually won't go beyond H3, but it does occur that you might go beyond it. So let's, for example, go here and say H4. Where to go from here, where to go from here, or something like that. Save it, and now you have your H4 there, where to go from here. And of course you can have an H5 and an H6 as well. So if I were to click here, make that an H5 and make that an H6, and remember to close off all of your tags. Just like in the previous video, you need to close off your tags unless they're self-closing, which we won't be getting into just yet. Except for a break line. I believe I have already taught you about the break line, which is self-closing. So it closes itself. You don't need to add in BR like that. It's unnecessary. Whoops. Like even my editor here doesn't want to do that. That is how bad it is. But anyways, yeah, so these are self-closing. They close themselves. We'll get more into self-closing tags later, but for right now that's perfectly fine. Anyhow, this should be an H4. There we go. refresh, and there we go. Take note, you can have many headers as you want. It's usually recommended that you have one H1 and then however many H2, however many H3. It doesn't matter that one may have more than one H3 and the other one doesn't. It doesn't really matter. It just kind of matters to the computer, because let's say you're asking Siri to read you a web page, so to read from a web page. So you're going to be like, okay, this is a page about animals, and this is going to be animals. First animal, dogs. Best grooming practices for dogs. I know it's not standing here, but it's just an example. She would exactly say that, but and then she'll be like, the best grooming best to be groomed once a day, and whatever else is said here. So that's what. So she'll say whatever is here, and she'll make like stops along the way. So animals, dogs, grooming practices. Best to be groomed once a day, and then where to go from here, and then continue speaking. So it's more for computers, less for us, because we can change the sizes later, so we don't have to even to worry about the size. Because you can see, like an H6 is smaller than a paragraph. So yeah, you don't usually want that, so you'll actually change that. Anyhow, so yeah, that's just how you want it. So a good rule of thumb, if you just want to get into it, is never use more than one H1, and try not to use more than two H2, but this highly depends on the web page. Their web page may need more than two H2 tags. And yeah, that is about as much there is to it to header tags. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all again in the next HTML tutorial.